Inside there's a sign saying that British Telephone no longer operates this cell phone and that it is now the local library. Absolutely adorable. And this one is something completely new altogether. This is a story box. This is an oral history project by Marion Bruce, who has interviewed many of her fellow Elithians and taped their stories and put them into a machine here in the old phone booth. And the phone booth now has an entirely new function. It houses the local defibrillator. So if somebody's having a heart attack, people can run to the phone booth and get the defibrillator and help. There are, of course, also phone booths out here in the countryside that have completely lost their function. This one isn't even very red anymore. It looks kind of sad. And there's a sign inside that used to say, "No cash, no problem." And now there's a public notice saying that it has been removed. But now I've discovered that there are still public telephones that actually have telephones in them. So the red phone booth, the traditional English red phone booth, is finding a new function, but is also still very much alive as a phone booth. Hooray!
Lifeline mar a chanasat chirabas a haun chanasat gan bachor ajna gavi aun tuman ma eeknaun a big stochu ajus on a chan a rotigan na big eeknaun is gefim of half can rock the halavko rotikan have friskar kan der gave bus a chatchen games to show kachchen van a help besichen.
Snurrig dunil shemoya segachi ik mochre zap dunichen smore chatu gayan oh hio edidio ele oh edidio yalvo.
Here in our little cottage on the Isle of Skye with a magnificent view, we're being very domestic. And Baptiste has made us a very English dinner. Baptiste, what is it?
It's a lamb.
A leg of lamb.
A leg of lamb, and it's a roast with potatoes, parsnips, broccoli, and of course carrots.
Lucky me, being married to a cook like this.
Ik mochre satunichen, smovre chatugayan, kaimen pimich kunital, ages preekne gale, oh hio, edidio vele, oh edidio yavu.
This lighthouse on the Isle of Skye is the westernmost point of the westernmost bit of the European continent. You can't get any further west in Europe unless you go to the Outer Hebrides. This is the lighthouse of Nice. The Isle of Skye is one continuous magical landscape of rocks and cliffs and sheep and beautiful Gallic words that all remind me of the Middle Kingdom and the Hobbit. People here lead a rugged life. The highlands and the islands are the terrain of crofters, a form of land tenure that is actually descended from the medieval feudal relationship between landowners and the farmers whom they force to work for them. Nowadays, these people are called crofters. They have a croft and they're a crofter. They work their land as farmers, but all of them also have to have work in addition to that, because you can't make a life from farming on these poor, steep hillsides. Crofting is actually a way of keeping people tied to the land in rural Scotland, where population is decreasing and where life is hard and you will never make much money.
And we have some aubergines, cucumbers, and the French beans and courgette.
We had those for dinner last night.
Oh right, yes, you had some of our courgettes.
What does it mean to you as a business, but also emotionally, to be a crofter?
Well, there's a very strong attachment to the land, and it also forms an important part of our livelihood, and it is a way of life.
How long have you been on the Isle of Skye?
We've been on the Isle of Skye now for 9 years.
And can you make a living as a crofter?
The way that we do crofting, the answer is no, because we only have here 5 hectares of land. But our kind of crofting really relies on having another income from either part-time or full-time work, or these days, in our case, we have pensions from previous employment.
So I was surprised that it was possible for people who didn't live nearby and who don't farm the croft to actually buy a croft.
Well, this shouldn't be happening, and it's happening by default, because crofting law and regulations is not being properly enforced by the Crofting Commission.
Mm-hmm. What will Brexit mean for you here on the croft?
We don't know. I think it's going to be a huge challenge, particularly for younger people. We're in our 60s now, but it's scary. I think it's just going into the unknown.
That Brexit is an unmitigated disaster for crofting, because one of the things that has ensured the support and survival of crofting has been our membership of the EU, because through it we have had the solidarity with other small agriculturists throughout Europe, and without that I don't think we would have had the government support that we've had. I feel a great sense of pain actually losing that.
Ljöta ikke vær sin kallag.